Hello family, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy E, the Dividend Passport Bro, back with another video. Guys, I'd like to say thanks to the new subscribers as we get our way up to 2,000 subscribers. You guys are really killing it, okay? We are on our way to 2,000 subscribers, all right? We need about another 90, 180 something subscribers to get to 2,000 subscribers. And anything is possible, guys. Anything is possible. There's a big chance that we're going to be able to make it to 2,000 subscribers 2024. And there's a small chance that we might not make it to 2,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. But either way, we're still doing it. And guys, always, this is not financial advice. I'm just a guy on YouTube that share my portfolio and how well my portfolio is doing. Down days, up days, good days, bad days, bull market, bear market, whatever market. I just share my portfolio every single day, except for the weekends, which I get to do random talks like today. And on Saturday, I get to show you guys some of the money that come in from the portfolio, even though this is becoming work and I'm hating it every single day that I get to do it. But it's still fun getting to share and motivate people. That's the reason for this channel, right? To motivate others to invest. I'm just a regular guy and been blessed to stumble on dividend investing to be able to get to where I'm at right now. I do have a regular job. I'm a career cyber security engineer, 20 plus years in technology, senior management, and all that good stuff. But all of those things, nothing come close to what I've been able to accomplish in the last 4 years as far as investing in the market. Okay, you know, people say, well, you know what, you need money to do this, you need money to do that. Invest in the market, you need patience. You need money, yes, if you need income, but you need patience, right? And patience have brought me a long way. And guys, like I always say, this is not financial advice, okay? So please remember that. This is not financial advice, okay? So if you need financial advice, schedule a consultation. Okay, guys, that's all I can say. But this is just me sharing what I do, what I've done to get to where I'm at today. And like I said, I do this to motivate you guys, right? To motivate others who feel there is no way. And you don't need a lot of money to get this started. You got to make sacrifices, right? Just like everybody else do. Now, some people can get to where I'm at in 3 months. Some people can get to where I'm at in 6 months, in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years. Timeline is different for everybody. It depends on your risk level. It depends on how much you invest, right? Because in order to get back the income, you need to invest. Now, you can use other people's money. You can use margins, right? Margins is like the broker give you 50% on what you put in. So you put in $1, they give you $1, right? So it's pretty much 100%, right? What you put in. But in most cases, sometimes, you know, some things, if you put $50, they'll put $50, 50%. Some things you put 30%, they'll put in 70%. So it's different with different it just depends what you buy. But in essence, that's using other people's money. It's more, I mean, it's still risky because if you lose your money, you lose all your money. If you lose their money, you lose all your money plus their money, and then you have to pay them back, right? But if you play it wisely, anything is possible, right? Anything is possible. You gotta look at the long game. What's your goal? Your how, your why, and your when. You know, those are things you want to look at, right? How you're gonna get your money, when you're gonna invest, and why. Why are you investing? What's the reason you want to invest? You want to invest because you need money. You want to invest, but if you're like, well, you need money. Why are you taking the money and put it in the market? Because you need money for the future. You need money in the long term. Maybe you don't want to work anymore. Maybe you want to be able to travel, right? I have a friend who he really don't want to be in the U.S. He want to be outside, live outside the U.S., but he want to be able to work his job outside the U.S. And for him, it's not possible because he worked for the government. And I mean, they can give him a certain period of time where he can go a week or two, maybe a month, maybe 2 months, but then he have to come back. So I was like, well, and he like, when we met, he's like, man, what do you do? I said, well, I kind of retired in a sense, but I still work to keep me busy. He said, what do you mean you retire in a sense? I said, well, I work a full-time job, but my job allows me to work from anywhere in the world. He's like, oh man, you lucky. I was like, well, it's not luck. I was like, I've been preparing for this for many years, and I only really focus on finding jobs that will allow me to work remote, and not only allow me to work from remote, but allow me to work from these countries that I usually travel to. Because I tell them, I say, look, I have properties in this country. I got property in DR. I got property in Colombia. So I need to be able to travel to those places with no issues. I go there multiple times a year. Is that going to be a problem? If they say yes, now I talk to them before I even go for the interview, right? Is that going to be a problem? No. Okay. And then when I go on the interview, when they ask, do you have questions? I bring some of those things up. I say, hey, I know this is not part of the interview process, but this is my situation. I have properties outside the U.S. I have family there, and I go there multiple times a year. Is that going to be an issue with this position? If they say yes, it's going to be an issue. I'll say, okay, thank you, and I'll continue the interview. But then after the interview, even if I get that job, right, especially when I was building my portfolio, even when I get that job would be maybe like a 6 months thing, right? Because as soon as I know I get into the point where I need to travel, I'm going to either take vacation time in the beginning or tell my boss, hey, I need to travel. I'll be gone for a week or two. I got some family issues. And sometimes they will say yes. But I'll always have another job in the background. So just in case they said no, I'm like, okay, I got another job, so I might take vacation time or not be able to travel, take some sick time, or whatever time I have, I would take. I would go on my trip, come back, and during that process, I might already have a second job. Because, to build my portfolio up, I need that second income so I don't take away from my first income. So that second job is primarily to build up my portfolio, right? And so if I get a second job and they say I can travel, I already got a first job, I can travel, I know, okay, well, if in let's say 6 months, if I can work this job for 6 months, even if I travel for 3 or 4 days and come back, I only got to take 2 vacation days, right? I can leave on a Wednesday, come back on Sunday, right? I only got to take Thursday and Friday off, or take Monday and Friday off, right? And then come back on a Monday. So different. You gotta use different things to that advantage, because I know I need money to grow my portfolio, and I know I need that second job to be able to invest into my portfolio rapidly, right? Because let's say if out of my first job I can only invest $500 a month, but my second job gives me the ability, depending on what I'm paying. Let's say I'm making $80,000, $50,000, $20,000, $30,000, whatever it is, right? That your second job pays. If you can invest, right, that money for that 3 months. Let's say you're making $24K, right? For that 3 months, you can put the entire income you get from that job into the market. That's $4,000, right? Because you're not making a lot of money, right? I hope I'm calculating right? So you can take that money and put the entire amount into the market. Okay? So you like, well, but what I gotta do? What I gotta pay this other bill? I gotta pay the other bill. Guys, you can't be worried about the little stuff, right? Because your first job you have takes care of your bill, plus you're still investing $500 a month. So now, if you got a second job, that $500 you would normally invest, right? You can put that to other things. You can say, you know what, I'm going to use that $500 to pay down a certain bill, or to put it into my emergency fund, and then use the money that you would get from the second job. For me, I was investing 80% of that income, and I was using the other 20% to have fun, right? Because I was using that when I travel. I would have a good time. I always go out to eat. I'll buy me nice clothes. I'll buy things that I wanted sometimes, but mostly I'll get things that I need, right? If I have one nice pair of shoes and I needed another pair of shoes, I was like, no, I'm gonna give me 2 pairs. So now I got 3 pairs of shoes. So I got 3 pair of black shoes. What am I gonna need more black pair of shoes for? That's just an example, guys, right? So you can take, it don't matter what the amount is, right? In my case, I was investing 30, 40 grand from my second job, whatever, for 6 months. If it was 6 months, I knew I only had a job for 6 months. Then I was going to be done because I couldn't put up with all the restrictions. Yeah, I work hard. And then when the time came, I gave them my notice and said, look, you know what? Based on these things, I cannot work this job because, like I said, I need to travel. And I can't travel. And I have family abroad. I got my child abroad. And I need to be able to go spend time with my child. And they'll be like, you know what, Edwin, we like your work, whatever. We need to keep you. If they need to keep you, then guess what? That travel ban that you have, restriction you have, now is lifted. But if they said no, you know what, we appreciate it. I'm gonna talk to my manager before I quit. And if they said no, then I'll quit. But if they say, you know what, yeah, we can't keep you, you gotta go. You want to go, fine, and then you put in your notice, right? And then you leave. But within that 6 months period, you have invested money that would take you 6, 7 years to invest in just 6 months, right? Can you imagine you investing $500 a month, right? $500 a month, $500 a month. That's $6,000 a year. Okay, now you got a job that paying you enough. Now, if you're making $500 a month, if you can invest $500 a month, you're not working a job that only paying you $20-something, in 6 months, right? You're working a job that probably gonna be paying you $80,000, $90,000, right? And when you take out taxes out of that, and what you do to have fun, you might be able to invest 60 grand. Depends, right? Depends. You might be able to invest $60,000 for the year. So look at this, right? 6,000 a year, or 50, or even 40 or $50,000 a year. How many years do you think you have to work to invest 40 grand if you're doing $6,000 a year? Right? It's going to take a long time. It's going to take a heck of a long time to get that money. What, almost 8, 9 years, whatever it is. I'm doing this on my head, guys. I know my math be off, but you get the point. If you don't get the point, then you don't get the point. Don't be like, man, your calculation not even right. My calculation is not a matter. It's a point. I'm not using no freaking calculator in my hand here. I'm just talking from my head. So if you have common sense, you would get the point. If you don't have common sense, you'll be like, damn, his calculation is way off. Okay, well, figure the calculation and then do it. Okay, guys? That's the reason you work a second job, right? In some case, you work 3 jobs. In IT, I can work 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs. You can work a 3rd shift in a SOC. And this job's paying $70,000, $80,000 starting off. You might go in one entry level, maybe 50 grand. Now, I'm not saying go be a security analyst. It takes time. That's a lot of work. It's not something you can learn overnight. You might be lucky, know somebody who can put you in there, but you have to have some skill set. But even if you're working a job that's paying you $25,000, $40,000 a year, that means you're investing $100, $200 a month. So if you can take 20, 30 grand and invest all of that into the market, if you're working 2 jobs consistently for 1 or 2 years, and if you add some high yield dividend to that and margins, now your 30 grand is 60 grand, right? And now you got money coming in from your 60 grand, $5,000-$6,000 a year. I mean, $5,000-$6,000 a month. Sorry, $5,000-$6,000 a month. That's more than what you're gonna be making on your job. Now, I'm not saying you to quit your job, but if you're making that kind of money every month, now you have options. Now you can relax and say, you know what? I don't need to be stressed about money. I don't need to worry about money. Now, when you're not worried about money, guys, for those of you, when you get your income tax, right, you understand exactly what I'm saying. When you get your income tax for that 1 week, 2 weeks that you get your income tax, and you spending money like, you know, that money never gonna run out, you know what I'm talking about, right? When you get that paper in your hand, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go buy me the shoes, I'm gonna buy my girlfriend this, I'm gonna buy my kids this, and before you know it, a week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, the money's gone. And you go back to being poor, and go back to being broke and living from paycheck to paycheck. But if you bust your butt, make the money, don't think about today. Think about tomorrow. Think about what if I don't have this tomorrow? How am I? You know, people living on the street and they get put out and they have all these excuses. Yes, family have issues. My family is not the best. I have great relationship with my brother, my sister. We have okay relationship, and that's it. My other 2 siblings, our relationship is not the best. Now I have a disabled brother, so I'm not even talking about him, right? But with my cousins and my stuff, I got a great relationship with my cousins and all of my other family members. I have a great relationship. Now, if something was to happen to me and I lose everything, yeah, I can say, you know what? I can go and stay with one of my cousins, and they will give me a job or give me something to do while I get back on my feet and do what I need to do. And guys, the thing about it is, once you learn how to make money, no matter if you lose everything, you just reinvent yourself, right? And fine tune what you were doing before to get you rich. And you're going to make that money back. And the next time, it's going to be better. I lost everything I had, right? I kept one property. I still got that property there. Every now and then I want to sell it. But I'm like, no, let me just hold on to it, right? And what I paid for that property is valued 3 times that today. Now, it was valued 4 times that a year ago, but the market had been going down. And now it's down to where it's valued by 3 times what I paid for it now. A little bit more. But it's paid for, right? I collect rent from that property, $15,000 a year. By the time I pay HOA dues, taxes, and then maintenance, I'll be lucky. Because my HOA dues is $300 a month. Taxes, I think, is like $3,000 or $4,000 a year, right? I'd be lucky if I take out $5,000 out of that property every year, right? Even though I can write those things off, and it helps with my write-offs, especially when you're making a lot of money. Real estate helps you with write-offs, right? But if I take that money from that property, $160,000, $170,000, right, and put that into the market, I would be generating maybe 10, 15 grand a month. Now, if I add margins to that, it might be close to 30 grand a month. Because, you know, that would be like, you know what, we're just gonna put that all in high yield and try to make our money back in a year. Because that's the goal. You put it in high yield and try to get your money back in a year or 2 years. And then after that, everything else is house money, right? You can, and this is what the rich people do, right? The rich people get loans against what they have in the market, right? They don't go get loans, based on like we do. If I have $7-8 million, I go to the bank and say, look, I need a loan. The bank said, what? Yes, I have money in the market, right? So I need $500,000. Because if they take their money, if they sell the stock they have in the market, they got to pay taxes on that, right? Capital gains tax, short-term, long-term gain tax, whatever percentage, 30, 40, 50%, whatever it is, right? But if they get a loan, they don't pay taxes on that money, right? If they get a loan, they don't pay taxes on that money, the loan they got, because they're already paying taxes on the money. And the money, the money they will make from their money, right? And the money that they will pay, will make from when they sell their positions is way less. Because when you get a loan from the government, from the bank, yeah, you can write it off. You can write it off on taxes, and you don't have to pay taxes on that money. But when you sell your positions you have in the market, you got to pay taxes on that. Uncle Sam got to get his share, 30%, 40%, whatever it is. He got to get it. And when you do your taxes, you can't file taxes on that money because that's capital gains and all that other stuff. But if you get a loan from what you got in your stock portfolio, right, you got to pay interest on that loan. What is it, 10%? Even if you're paying 15%. And if you sell your positions, you got to pay over 30%. So if you're paying 15%, it's nothing. And your money is still in the bank. It's still invested, making more money for you, right? And all the money that you got from the bank, that 500,000, whatever it is, that's all taxable. You can write that off. Guys, there's so much stuff. When I start talking about money, I be smiling because there's so much ways to save money. That's why the rich get richer and the poor stay poorer, because we have that mindset that, oh, they're against us. No, I said, Dave, that's what when I was broke and struggling, that's how I felt. They're against us, whatever, right? And when you have money, you can live anywhere. You don't have to live. I can live in Atlanta. I can live in New York. I can live in Florida. I can live in Panama. I can live in all these places at once. Well, not this at the same time, but I can spend 2 or 3 weeks here in my property here, and go to my property in New York, go to my property in Florida, go to Panama, Costa Rica, Bangladesh, whatever the hell I want to go, I can go. Because that's what money does for you. And if you have a business, all of these expenses that you're traveling, all that stuff, is on your business account. I'm a YouTuber. I make YouTube video about finance. My house, I have an office in my house, right? So I can write off literally up to $20,000 a year for renting my house to myself for 15, 16 days out of the year, right? I can do that because I have businesses. Businesses, not just one. I got businesses. Now, my YouTube business, I work a video every single day in YouTube. Sometimes I make 2 videos because I have my other channel, my Retired Rome channel. Sometimes I make 2 videos. I don't make a lot of video on that channel, but most of the videos on this channel. So that's another tax write-off. And they can be like, well, how you do? Look at my damn channel. You see that. I'm a YouTuber, right? Plus I have businesses. So, they can see it. When I travel outside the country, those are business. I make videos. I post it on my channel, right? Those are all write-offs. So guys, you gotta think outside the box. You can't say, you know what, I want to get there, but when somebody bring you an option, then you come up with more excuses. Well, but I don't have this, I don't have that. I mean, think outside the box. You know, I remember a few weeks back, one of the guys was telling me, like, man, listening to what you're saying, bro, I want to sow all the crap around the house. And I know what he meant by that. He didn't literally just go sell everything in his house, but everything that he didn't need, that had any kind of value, that wasn't bringing him any money, and he wasn't attached to it, he got rid of to put money into his portfolio to generate worth, to generate income, right? And I don't know what his portfolio is today, but I know back then he was getting it going, right? And it only takes two to get to a point. You know what is enough? You know, if you're making 5,000 a month and your portfolio generating $1,000 a week, if you have yield max, if your portfolio generating 5,000 a week, I mean 1,000 a week, and you're making 5,000 a month, then you're making more money than your job. Because your job, you gotta take out taxes, you gotta buy you clothes to go to work, you gotta pay gas to go to work. When you add all those things up in traffic, your time you spend in traffic, the stress you gotta go through in traffic, it's ridiculous. I took my daughter to the daycare the other day. I was taking her, cause my ex got a daycare, so she goes there. And I was taking her, and I was like, you know what? She's like, bring me some donuts, please, the night before. I was like, I don't know, because if I bring donuts, I gotta go early. I was like, you know what? This is my little ninja. She got up early, so I was like, you know what? We're gonna go early. Man, I went to Krispy Kreme. Traffic wasn't too bad. Got the donut on my way to her house. For me to go 5 blocks, it took almost 20 minutes to go 5 blocks. Because there was so many goddamn cars, and then whatever reason the light kept messing up. And then as we got closer to the light, there's 2 lanes. The other lane, there was a big old semi truck, 18-wheeler, whatever, that broke down, right? So that's why everything was taking so long. Because some tell me, man, why don't you just go around and go the other way? There are multiple routes. I was like, no, I want to go this way. And I was so annoyed. I was like, man, this is why I work from home. Because I don't have to deal with traffic. I don't have to sit in my car for an hour going to work and 2 hours coming home. I don't have to deal with that stress. And I had a meeting that I had scheduled for 10 o'clock. And I had to take that meeting in the car without my video turned on, because in my company, we do video. Every time you get on a call, they want you to have your video on, right? Because they want that personal experience. And but luckily my boss didn't trip. I got on the call. I told him, hey, this is a situation. And she's like, oh, don't worry about it, because you know I got a 22-month-old. I got a, I'm a old dad, right? I got a baby, 22 months old daughter. So, and she understood that. She said, oh, no big deal. But usually I always have my video on. Usually I have the blur in the background, where they can't see nothing, but usually I have my video on. So guys, this is some of the things. You have to know what you need to get to, how you're going to get there. And believe me, when I started this thing, right, I was just investing to make $24,000 a year. Honest to God, truth, that was it. And I got there, almost got there this year, right, before I went to the DR. And then when I started talking to my baby girl, she was like, Dad, well, I'm going to school. Mom says you're going to pay half of my tuition. And I was like, ooh, okay. I mean, I had some stuff planned for her already, but it was not at the rate of $20,000 a year, 24 grand a year. Because I talked to this child when she was a grown up, baby, play sports, play soccer, play basketball. Even if you're not good at it, play soccer. Because if you play soccer, you're going to get into somebody's school. You're tall, you don't like to run, so you can play goalie. You don't have to run that much. You just catch the ball, I gave her a few training with her footings, all that stuff. She was doing pretty good, but she was lazy. She don't want to do it. So the whole time she was her mom, she didn't do none of the stuff. She just did things to be out of the house because she didn't want to be at home. She did all these different activities so she could be out of the house. Now she get into college. She knows she got a dad that need to pay for tuition. So I was like, okay, well, baby, you need to go get a student loan. For that reason, she can get a student loan. Okay. Well, you need to get a student loan because give me time to build this income so we can pay for your tuition. Okay, still no student loan. So I had to pay, you guys heard the story before. I had to pay $12,000 on my credit card for her first semester. She's in school now. Mama's supposed to pay second semester. Now, the other day, a couple of days ago, I heard her in the background fighting with her mom because her mama telling her to go get a student loan because she ain't got no money to pay for her tuition. But she's like, Mom, you told me you're going to pay my tuition. You know, this was all you're doing. You wanted me to go to this school so I can be close to you, so you and your husband were going to pay my tuition. Because dad was horrible. I was a horrible dad. She didn't care about her father. Mama poisoned my daughter. But now, when shit hit the fan, you know, she realized she got a father. Now, if I was a horrible dad, I'd be like, you know what? Go back to your mom. You didn't have time for me. 5-6 years, you better have time for your dad. You better call me. I have to call you bitch at you every day to talk to you. Right? Now you're like, oh, I got a father. My dad is an awesome dad. I think I've always been this awesome dad. I haven't changed. I got all the child support check that your mama sent back. Because we didn't go to no government stuff, right? But I got all the checks that I would send, and she would write on the checks and send them back. We don't need your money. Right? But if I was a horrible guy, I would just take the money and spend it. But no, I invested that money into an account for my daughter because I knew that one day that she would come back and say, well, Daddy, Mama did. I was like, I got all these checks. There you go. Look at them. You're old enough now. Look at them. That's your mother's handwriting. That's the check that was returned back. Direct deposit from my account to your mother, for you. See what that said right there? Your name and child support. She look at me, she look at the paper, she bent her head down. I said, but you ain't gotta worry about tuition. You don't have to worry about tuition. Because you my flesh and blood. And one thing we do in our family, we take care of our kids. Okay? And I was like, you know what? I need to find a way to generate $24,000 a year. And the only way I knew how to do that was through dividend investing. And I was already using the Yield Max products, but like I tell you guys all the time, I wasn't using it the way I do it now. I was using enough to add $3,000 or $4,000 a year into my portfolio. That was it. And I started looking more into it, and that's how I was like, you know what? If I'm going to invest for her, I need to start building my portfolio up too. And that's how I started building my portfolio up. So guys, within 6 months, my portfolio have went from $20-something thousand a year to 30 grand a year within less than 6 months. But I already had a lot of money in my account. That's the difference. I already had over 100K in multiple portfolios, in 2 different portfolios, because I was working 2 jobs. In some cases, I was working 3 jobs, right? And I was investing all of the income from those jobs. And I was only spending 20% of one job. If I was working 3, the other job, I would put in the whole amount in there. Right? And then if I give money to my business, I give it to my business as a loan. So that way I didn't have to pay taxes of that money twice, and my business could write debt off, and I could also get my money back whenever my business paid me back. Guys, you know, Y'all do what y'all want to do. Y'all listen to who y'all want to listen to. But everything I'm telling you, you can look it up on the internet. You can find out. You can look it up. And you guys can go back and see my videos from where I was making $21,000. It's there a year to where I'm at now. And it's only going to get better. Now, I know I would say, oh, well, I'll be happy when I'm making $1 million a year. It's a lot of money, plus a lot of risk, right? So as the money grows, if we get up to 600,000, we're going to be paying down margins, right? Paying down margins, in some cases, getting rid of margins in one or two of the portfolios. Maybe just have one portfolio with margins in it. You know, the money I'll be making, $30,000 a month, is more than what I would ever need. More than enough to pay my daughter tuition for the year. I'm making that in a month. In Colombia, I don't need a lot to live. I already got to pay for an apartment. I got a car there. So, I mean, life is good. Now I can pay off my house here if I'm going to keep it and have everything here I need. So whenever I come to the home, you hear my little ninja screaming? Whenever I come home, I have what I need. I got a car. I got my Tesla. You know, it is what it is. Now, I'm at 36 minutes. I know I'm talking too much. When I get going, I get going. But I don't write this stuff down. It's come from my head. It's non-scripted. It just come from my head. And I just tell her how it is. I tell her how I feel. Because, you know, this is therapy for me also, right? Because this helped me a lot. Because you have things that you can't tell certain people. I tell the complete stranger. You can talk about me and whatever. I don't care. Right? But I look at this as a community that we are building together. So for me, being open, being very transparent is key to grow this community. Now, you know, I like the comments, good comments. There's no bad comments. Like that way, growing up in school, it's like there is no stupid questions, right? The only stupid questions is the one you don't ask. So I always say, guys, ask questions, comments. I appreciate all of those, and we're gonna continue to build this community together. And I, you know, from the bottom of my heart, you know, I do this because I love you guys, not to brag. You know, God have blessed me. I got everything I need. I got a beautiful 22-month-old daughter down there screaming right now. I got to go get her. But I love you guys. Still blessed. Go Blues. You see me, I got my Chelsea Blues on. Our game come on in 30 minutes. So for now, I'm going to sit by. And tomorrow is another day. Back in the market and doing what we do and see how much money we're going to get from Misty and AIYY. And what else I have? I had 3 stocks, 3 high yield positions I will be paying this week. And we have a lot of shares, especially in AIYY in all of my positions. So, I mean, we should be getting, I don't even want to estimate, because last time I estimated around $8,000, I was off. So we're going to see, right? We're going to see what it's going to be like as the week start. You know, I don't know if Misty going to pay $4 or $5 or $6. I have no idea, because you know Bitcoin hit over $103,000, and if it's continue to go up, Misty gonna pay something good. So guys, invest in your future. You know, that's the reason I started this channel, to motivate others like me to invest. If you're young, you got time, you can go a little slower. But if you want to retire early, man, take the risk, right? If you don't work out, you can come back and fine-tune your whole crap up and do it again. But if you're watching this channel, that means you are making some money. That means you're doing it right. That means you're doing everything that I say, guys, don't do this, do this, right? You listen to what I'm saying. It's not financial advice, but I'm just telling you what works. So if you've seen it, what I'm saying, and you're doing it, I'm doing it also for most cases, a lot of it, right? But as I was trying to get the income up, I bought a lot of stuff without being patient. I made a big mistake and sold my Misty. But even though I sold Misty, I took all the money out and bought other things that is non-generating income. But it was not a good move to sell Misty. I messed up. But you know, you make a mistake, you learn. This is a dividend portfolio. We're gonna live our dividend. We're gonna buy more dividend under 5-6%, and we're gonna grow those, guys. Okay, invest in your future, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Stay blessed. Peace.